How many seconds of silence
Are
are you
you
giving
playing
us?
it or?
Yeah, I was playing it. You guys were talking over it. You couldn't hear that?
If
No.
you didn't catch that, we didn't hear anything. We were just being quiet, thinking you were playing something, but in actual reality, you weren't.
I was
So,
playing something. Like I
Oh
always do the
no.
intro where I play that. Here, let's see. Why would you guys not hear that?
because it wasn't working.
What about right now?
Nothing.
It doesn't matter where I live. Discord apparently just hates me. I am watching my internet signal just rise and fall right now with
I
Discord.
wonder if this is great content for all the people checking us out on. Just bear with us for like 2 seconds. I'm going to play
Here,
this. It's recording on my side. You guys don't need to hear it anyway. So as long as it's recording where I'm at, then we should be good to go. So I'm going to play this one more time so I can get good audio without you guys talking over it. And then we'll jump into the show. Sound good? Because this is probably just not set up for you guys to hear it through Discord. Oh, that's why it's a Discord thing. That is making all the sense because Discord is stupid. All right, so 3, 2, 1, and then here we go. Welcome, everybody, to episode 110 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest running Anthem podcast on the internet and all the blacknet and all the rednet. So I am your host, Steve, along with my 3 co-hosts. It's been a long time since we've all been together, but I'm here with Mike, Devon, and JD. And guys, it's been a wonderful November, December. I'm glad that you could join us and be here with us. Thanks for chat, hanging out with us. I see Jeffrey over there hanging out. Umbrella Ops is kicking it off with us. So, guys, how was your Thanksgiving? Devin, do you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was nice and chill. Not a difficult work week, and well, it was a difficult work week for my wife because she works retail. But
That's rough. No casualties on Black Friday?
Nope, no casualties. Not here, anyways.
That's good. JD, did you have a good vacation?
You know, a lot of it was dedicated to moving into the new place and carrying a lot of boxes up and downstairs. But Thanksgiving was pretty awesome. My dad had a good time, which was the big thing. But yeah, no disappointment there.
Very cool. And Mike, how was your Thanksgiving? I mean, I know how it was, but the people don't know how it was. So tell me how it was.
Thanksgiving is always a great time at my house. Fortunately, we have enough family close by, and we have a home that has a large enough front room to be able to throw 6 tables in and have 32 people at Thanksgivings. It's a great week because we get to build rockets with the nieces and
The nephews and
nieces,
nieces.
the nieces and nephews, and we shoot off model rockets, and we get to stay home on Black Friday. It's just a grand old time. We have a great time celebrating Thanksgiving, and now we have, looking forward to the next time off where we can celebrate. So
Yeah, it's true. And I took like most of December off, so I feel like I'm celebrating all month. So that's kind of nice. So that's what we're gonna do. But let's jump into all the important Anthem stuff that has been going on and will be going on this month and the months to follow. Okay, it has been 293 days since the game has been released. We are quickly coming up upon the 1 year anniversary of Anthem. So that kind of, brings into perspective a lot of things that has happened in the game, from the launch to the first content drop to the Cataclysm to the second Cataclysm and to Ice Tide that's coming up. So one thing that we did this time last year, we made a bunch of predictions for the year of 2019. What is going to happen in Anthem? So we're going to get to those. We're going to cover all the predictions. And here on the Freelancer Codex podcast, we like to gamify everything. So we turned it into, hey, how many points can you earn per prediction based on whether it's an easy prediction? We'll explain all those super convoluted rules that Mike hates.
all
We'll
the
explain
rules
that
that
when we get
Steven
to it.
made up so that he could win. They're not convoluted.
It's pretty much I will
rigging the
cheat.
deck. You're just rigging the deck.
and that's fine because sometimes that's how you got to win. Like if you're LeBron James and you just want to travel all over the basketball court and the refs let you do that, that's what he does because he can, and that's what I'm going to do because I can here.
You don't
So
even
it's
watch
been
basketball. How would you know what LeBron James
I
does?
watch the gifs, Devin. I like live
It's
through gifs,
edited.
right?
Doesn't count. It's not
It's
real.
edited. I don't think you can edit that.
Oh,
Like
you can
I
edit anything.
And I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of us live through everything, right? Like if we see the 5 second clip, that's enough to get like what happened in that basketball game. Unfortunately, that's kind of how I live and consume content through Twitter and what everyone thinks is funny. But yeah, so it's been 293 days since Anthem has been released, and I've got a new countdown because for me, I think the next time we hear something big other than Eyesight is probably going to be EA Play 2020, and that's in 183 days. So it's going to be a long time till we hear anything about 2.0. I think.
It's a long time
They're
away.
going to break. I don't think they're going to break their silence. I don't think they're going to give us. I don't think they're going to give us anything. Just kind of like they have been. They've said, "Hey, this is going to be." We're going to show, not tell. We're going to release stuff, and we're going to count on our community to put it out there, which is a big ask for your community that you have right now, I think. But I think that's what's going to happen. So 183 days until we hear about 2.0. All right, so one thing that has happened in the world of Anthem this past 2 weeks, is that we got our new community manager announced, and that is Camden. He's the new CM, previously of Blizzard, worked on the WoW team over there for a really, really long time. And from my perspective, like, if we have a new community manager, like, what better place could they come from than from Blizzard? Blizzard notoriously has a super passionate fan base. So they go for, if you like, on the Blizzard message boards, they go from, hey, we love you, worship the ground that you walk on because you're Blizzard, to burn it down because we hate you and
Burn
how
it to
dare
the
you sell out,
ground.
right? So there's a huge, I mean, you have to gain a lot of experience, especially from working on the WoW team, going from balancing all these classes, and this class needs this and this class needs that, a lot of negativity on those boards. If you've ever been on a Blizzard board, that's just how it is. You get a lot of good and you get a lot of bad.
Mhm.
And so I'm guessing Camden has a ton of experience, and coming over to EA, coming over to BioWare, probably has a lot of perspective that he can offer on how to deal with community and hopefully how to communicate with this a little bit more, because it's no, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for, it's no surprise that I think we haven't been communicated to enough, and I would like to see that change. I don't think it will, but maybe with Camden, maybe he'll bring in a different perspective and say, hey, we should probably start talking to these people so that they don't leave the game. Maybe that's too much to ask, I'm not sure, but I would like to see that happen because I would enjoy more communication. Agree, disagree, rebuttal, no rebuttal? If not, we'll move on.
That's
You
a
gonna
whole
give
lot of
people a
stuff.
chance to rebuttal?
Gotta
Only
breathe.
as long as I take
Gotta
a drink,
take a
Mike.
few
You're just gonna keep
seconds.
Yeah.
talking.
We don't talk at 2 times
No,
speed.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
really messed me
I
up, and I
don't
apologize.
I don't really know much about
I
most
don't know
games or the
much.
community with regarding Blizzard, because I haven't really played a lot of their stuff. I haven't really
How dare you, JD? How dare you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He spent his time playing BioWare games when he should have been playing Blizzard games.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, look, we just took different paths. We got to the same place. Hey, you and I are here.
We are not
But
the same, JD. You and I are not the same.
well, no, there's like a
Yeah,
there's
he
like a
can grow a
120
beard.
pound difference between us.
You,
Like at
you
least.
bastard, Devon.
I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, I probably weigh as much as you and Mike. So, like, hey, all right.
We don't have to
But
go there, JD. Okay.
Anyway, go ahead, Jenny.
anyways, like, I don't know much. I don't know much about like the community managers of Blizzard or anything like that. But from the tweets I have seen thus far, and just from what I've been hearing from my fellow gamers who are more familiar with Blizzard than myself, he does seem like he's going to be a good fit for the role. I look forward to hopefully interacting with him more and more, and like I feel like it can only be good because we weren't getting a ton before. So I'm just looking forward.
Yep, I agree. Devon.
Yes. No, so I think it'll be good as long as, I mean, a community manager can only do so much when they're in a show don't tell mode, right? I thought it was good once the last event was actually going. They gave weekly updates, and that was good. But yeah, I mean, I guess it remains to be seen how effective he can be. If he's handcuffed behind a show don't tell communication method, you know, I don't know how much he's going to be able to do.
Yeah, and I guess it's interesting to bring them on now when that is their strategy. And maybe it is just to kind of, hey, 2.0 is, just around the corner, figuratively speaking, sometime at the end of next year. So that's when you bring someone on that's going to be mainly focused on it so that they can communicate better, right? Instead of just dropping them, hey, we're releasing 2.0 in a week. Here you go. Here's the book. Go for it. Good luck.
In a
Try to
week,
live.
they'll be like,
Yeah.
it comes out today. We'll announce that it came out yesterday, tomorrow. What? No.
Yeah. Anyway, so so we got a question on Twitter from Umbrella Ops, who was also hanging out with us in the chat, and I wanted to posit this to you guys as well. What? So Umbrella Ops says, here from Twitter, my question this week is: we already know that Anthem has a small but dedicated fan base. We're few, but we believe in Anthem and its potential. I know what it is for me, but what is the one thing about Anthem that has you hooked? Even after all the ups and more frequent downs, content has always been an issue with Anthem. So what's the one piece of staying power beckoning you back? And he says, thanks. Also, feel free to plug my new film video game review project. We'll definitely do that. We love plugging stuff of members of the community. So you can go follow Jeffrey at umbrella_ops on Twitter, and he's doing some video game reviews. It's called of the genre reviews at umbrella_ops. Keep up the good work. You guys keep Anthem in good spirits, and I'm super grateful. Jeffrey, we appreciate you hanging out and being
Indeed.
part of our community. It means a
Thank
lot
you.
to us that people actually tune in and listen to us yell at each other. So Jeffrey, we appreciate it, and thanks for hanging out. So if you guys don't have an answer, I can
I
I
have an
can
answer.
give mine while you think about it. We'll let you go first, Devin. Then we'll let Mike go. Then JD.
All right, so for me, what the one thing for Anthem is, it's kind of the possibility, right? Everything, it's the same since it began for me. Like since we started the podcast, even was the possibilities for this IP, right? For this game, even after all the ups and downs and everything else, it's still the possibilities of what Anthem can and could be, right? And I guess for me, it's just will they get there? And I hope that they do. I mean, there's so much that this IP could be, so much the game could progress and could change. I mean, they have really good gameplay, graphics. The game looks amazing, especially on PC, Master Race.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's fun to play. There's things. I mean, we've talked them to death of things that the specifics that they need to change and fix, and they're definitely working on that. It just remaking a game takes time, and I mean, because that's basically what they have to do for the core system. Pretty much remake the game. You got to tear it all down and make new stuff, but there's just so many possibilities and so many directions they can go. That's what's exciting to me about Anthem. And I mean, what they have is already deep in lore and story. And I mean, granted, we have to dig to try and get that, but it's there, and there's so much that this game could be. So that's what keeps me coming back. That's what keeps me excited for the future of Anthem, and it will keep me excited until they say, "Well, we're not working on it."
Do you think, Devin, and then we'll let JD and Mike get to their points, because you're excited more about the potential of it, is it almost like them releasing something new will kind of ruin that excitement for you? Or hopefully what'll be something that'll
Mm.
just actually make you excited about the game, like new modes or new content or whatever? Because if you're excited about the potential and they show
Yeah.
you like, hey, this is what we did with it, I mean, does that kind of lessen the excitement for you?
No, I don't think it does. I think it maybe in the short term, like when you're playing that content, you're like, oh man, it's not what I wanted. But then it's like it's kind of a cycle, right? Where I play their new content, and it's like, oh, it's not really what I wanted it to be yet, but it's still enjoyable. And I mean, I guess for me, it's really once 2.0 comes out, how big of a change is that? And that's really where it's going to be a deciding factor. Like all the events that they're going to put out aren't really going to be a big change. They're going to try and update what they have now and try and fix problems, but they're to really fix the game, it has to be a full tear down and rebuild. And so I guess then maybe I'll have a different attitude once 2.0 comes out and see how much they actually listened, how much they actually changed, and you know maybe then we can revisit it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
right now it's just like, oh, I'm excited. I play it. There's still possibilities, still things that they can do, and I still have, I still believe in BioWare and what they can do. I know there's a lot of great developers working on the game, and while they do things that confuse me and frustrate me, um, I'm not making the game. They are, and so I still have passion for it no matter what. And so that's why I get frustrated.
I understand. JD, what's that one thing that keeps bringing you back or that keeps you grounded in Anthem?
Um, so this might sound a little weird, but for me, I come back because of Warframe, Final Fantasy 14, and BioWare. Um, I've seen how far games like Warframe and Final Fantasy 14 can come over time. Like Final Fantasy 14 had a very rough launch, and they did a relaunch that is similar to what we think Anthem is going to do at some point in the future. Warframe started off in a very different place and has come to a totally different place at this point in time that is very quality, very good, very fun. And I've played plenty of BioWare games to know the heights that BioWare can reach when they get there. And like Devon said, I like the potential is there, and I keep coming back because I am 100% positive that this game can reach the same heights if it's given the same time and dedication that it needs to get there. Because, like I said, those games started off in very different places, and Bioware can be very good. So I think that if they do what a lot of us think they're going to do and go for an Anthem 2.0 or total tear down and rebuild, I really think that we could have something real special on our hands because the potential is there. Best combat in a game like this that I've played. The flying mechanics are great, and the customization is still, in my opinion, um, the best, even surpassing what was my standard before, which was Warframe for cosmetic customization. So, it can get there.
Very cool. Mike, what is your grounding factor?
I pardon me. I unfortunately am not hooked anymore. I am I haven't picked up Anthem in quite some time. I I do not know if I'll even jump in Anthem 2.0. Um I
What?
I don't
Woo!
I'm a little jaded, I guess,
Jaded.
because of what has happened and because of the way that we as players have been treated. I'm not I'm I'm having a hard time with it right now. I don't have a draw to go back, unfortunately. I don't I can understand all your all's points, but you know,
So then,
you can put colors on your javelin. Like, so what? Like,
no,
we still have the same materials that we've always had. We have we have the there's just so many things that I am angry not I, angry is a strong word, but there's just so many things that I'm befuddled about because of how we've been treated, the way that information has come to us, and for me it's gonna take some work from the team to get me back in because I don't feel that I don't feel that it's worth my time. And I think it's because I've invested so much time into it. We've talked about this before, that we've invested quite a bit of time in this Anthem project, and for us making a show about it, and go I mean and just the super highs when it launched, and it was really cool, really different, really neat. Flying was cool, but flying had its issues. The store was cool, but the store has issues. The story was a great BioWare story, but was it? And and so I'm I I'm looking at it with some pretty high reservations, because I don't know what to expect. Or maybe I'm expecting more of what we had, and I'm not okay with that, because
Eh,
I don't feel it's fair. Not, and that's a weird thing to say, because who am I to say this is fair and this is not? I'm just a consumer,
no,
right?
no, I get that, but
So I'm having
also,
issues, is what I'm saying. I'm not. You guys
and
are
I,
gonna have
and
to
I
have
think
an intervention on my
no,
behalf.
that's fine. And I think that's a fine stance for you to take. Like, there's nothing here that says, like, hey, if you're on the show, you're like, you have to be dedicated 100% despite everything that's happening, right? Because it would be easy and it would probably be unfair of us to be like, no, everything's perfect and this is great. And
Because
luckily,
it's
we have
not.
never done it. And
Because
luckily,
it's
we've
not
never done that,
perfect.
right? I
Nope.
mean, if anything, we've been brutally honest on the way we feel about how the game's going. So to hear
Yeah.
you, and this isn't something that like I'm super shocked about, to be like, oh man, Mike is feeling this way, because we talk a lot, right? And there's a time when we would play a lot of games together, and there's a time that it's like we haven't been playing because there hasn't been much to drive us to play, because the amount of time that we spent in the first Cataclysm doing everything and then being asked to go do that again for the next content, that's a tough pill to swallow. And to not be told what's coming next, other than a 3-day PTS that we were shown. So I totally 100% get you on that. But like, if you were to say one thing that would get you to come back for Ice Tide, like one thing that you're like, hey, they announced that they're gonna do this, I'm back in. What would that be? What would that one thing be?
So I think for me, Steve, I think we're to the point now where it's not that I don't have confidence in the game. It's almost like I don't have confidence in the team. So I think for me to come back, and not that I'm leaving, like I'm not announcing to the world that 110 is Mike's final episode, and we're holding auditions for the fourth host. Like,
We
so
all know it'd be
so don't
Lupo.
so don't get us to replace you, maybe. Like, who's this guy? You think you are get to make these HR decisions? That's going in your
I've
file.
missed. Where's Salty Mike been? Hasn't been here in a while.
He's here. Um, I've just been derailed. Steven, what was I saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
You were saying the
The
one thing
one
that would
thing
get
that
you
would
to
bring you
come
the
back.
back,
thing
unfortunately.
the thing that I think will bring me back is hopefully Camden will right the ship, because I don't feel that the ship is right. I think that for the community, the bridge between the team and the community, I don't think that ship has a captain. I think it's been just kind of drifting, and hopefully Camden can, all right guys, this is what's coming from the team. This is what you can expect. Here's a roadmap. These are our acts. This is what's happening. I think that is what's going to bring me back ultimately. If there's a plan, if there's some direction, because right now there isn't, and you can say that there is, but there isn't. And I
Well, I
think
mean,
so. That's
their
what's gonna
direction
bring
is
me
show
back.
don't tell, right? So
But that's
they're just
but that's
dropping
not
it
a
on people.
direction.
No,
Yeah,
I mean
that's not a direction.
it's a direction. It's not a good
Oh,
direction, but
No,
it's like
I mean,
pooping
no.
in your pants. It's not a
gotta
good
be.
thing to do, but it
It's like
happens. All right.
it's like pooping in your pants when
Right.
you're 35. That's what it's
What?
like.
Sometimes
Like
it happens,
Where
right?
does this
because
come
I
up?
have a 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old that does that, and that's fine, right? But when you're 35, you got
How
you
did
got
we
you
get
got to
here?
get that taken care of, because that's not okay.
Why?
It's my job to take
That's
it there. All right, that's my.
well, but
What? I
and
mean,
and
hey,
and if JD ever makes it out of his house, he might understand like what we're talking about with life happening. So I mean,
Salty
be
Mike
alright.
is here.
We can tell stories on the
Yeah,
other
'cause-
show about that.
Yeah,
So,
because I don't know anything about changing diapers. Yeah.
so one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and Jeffrey, thanks for that question. We really appreciate it. I hope everyone goes and checks him out on Twitter at umbrella_OPS and
Hit
check
it
out
up.
his stuff that he's got going on over there. One thing that is going to be happening that we know for sure is that the next generation of consoles are going to be releasing
Yeah.
this holiday season, right? We're going to get Project Scarlet. Hopefully they just call it the Xbox, because if they call it the Xbox 2, that's dumb.
We've been
So
hoping that they'll just call it Xbox
Yes,
for the last
that would be
couple
dumb.
generations.
yeah, I don't know if they'll ever do that, but so we're going to be getting the PlayStation 5. We're going to be getting the next Xbox. So my question is,
The
with
next
2
box.
the next box. Nice job, Mike.
The
Well done.
next box.
The next box. I can dig it.
Watch them call
So-
it Xbox next.
So the next time that this releases, so 2.0 is going to be coming out sometime in the future. Holiday season, they're going to be coming out. What do you guys think they do with the SKU? Are they going to be going like, when Destiny came out, they had the Xbox 360 version, and then they had the Xbox One version, and eventually they dropped off the 360 support after, what was it, like a year and a half, 2 years or so?
Yep.
So you think we're going to be getting a Anthem 2.0? Like, is this going to be a new game? Is this just going to be an update that's going to update Anthem on the consoles? Because this is kind of where things get tricky, right? Because if it is just an update, then it'll just update on old gen, and then it'll update to the same on the new gen. But if it's a brand new like title, whether they call it Anthem Next, Anthem something other than what it is now, and it's like a brand new launcher, a brand new download,
So
like how do
so
they handle
when
that?
Steve, when we get to predictions, I'll talk a little bit more about this, but I think it's gonna be a brand new game. Like Devon said in his thing, like they're tearing. We can only assume that they're reworking everything from the ground level up, and I think it's going to be. It might still have the Anthem name on it, but I can envision some very big changes where it might not even look like what we've had in the past. So
Well,
I'm
then,
thinking just brand new game, new support. It'll be on Xbox One and then the next gen console, and for however long, probably the same kind of format, year and a half.
I mean, I assume it's going to be a cross-gen game, just like most everything else, that's going to be coming out. And really, it depends on how much they want to, how much effort they're going to put into it. Are they going to take advantage of the new CPU, the solid-state drives? Are they going to give those options for PC players that use a solid-state drive? I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, there's tons and tons of conversation for every game or any game that's going to come out next year or the year after. Because it's not like they're just going to drop support for 160 million consoles, that are this current gen of console, and so there's people that think they're just going to drop support for that. That's just dumb. I mean, that's not going to happen, especially with EA. They're going to do that for like 3-4 years. They're going to continue to support the older consoles, just like they did the last generation when we moved over. So what it comes down to is just more work for developers, more basically targets that they can shoot for, just like working on PC. They're trying to, okay, what's our lowest that we can do and what's the highest. But at least with consoles, they have a known SKU and they can know exactly what they're working for. But again, I think that's going to be a big problem because, the CPU and the storage is going to change stuff, and I mean, definitely it can help with the loading for Anthem, for especially for consoles because they have a lot of issues with loading. JD can attest to that, I'm sure, because it takes forever to load on console. So those solid state drives will definitely help it out for sure. But again, it's up to BioWare to take advantage of that. As far as I mean, yeah, I think when they bring out 2.0, it'll definitely support current gen and next gen. They'd be crazy not to. So.
will we have the game on Stadia is my question. Anyway, so we will
Will
talk more
Stadia even
about.
still be alive next year? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good prediction. So we'll talk more about that when we get to our predictions, but we're going to cover our 2019 predictions. We're going to see who was right, who was wrong, who got close, and who was way off the mark, JD. And then we're going to score up and we're going to total who actually won the prediction. So the way we do predictions, this is super, super complicated, right? So one of us makes a prediction, and then the other three hosts on this show, we decide on a scale from 1 to 10 how likely that prediction will actually come to pass. Okay. So if it is a prediction that is like, hey, Anthem will release something next year, that is a super easy prediction because we know that's probably going to happen. So you would give that a 1, right? Because it's easy. That's how many points you'll earn. So if it's an easy,
Well,
shut up. So if it's an
well.
easy knock it out of the park prediction, you'll give it a 1 because, like, yeah, you don't want to just give away points because that's an easy prediction. If it's a way out there prediction, like, hey, they're going to release 5 new javelins by the end of the year, you would give that a 10 because that's super unlikely to happen. And then we average that, and that person gets points. So you'll figure it out as we go along. So we all made 5 predictions. So we'll just jump right into it, and we'll
Why
see.
are prediction 4 or 5 of mine exactly the same?
That's
Because
how you wrote it out.
You're a bad predictator.
Yeah, that's how you wrote it out last
Hopefully
time.
you will figure it out as we go, because we still haven't figured it out. Steven just
It looks like it was copied
stuff
and
out of his
pasted, like the
butt.
text was there for.
You
correct
actually
proof.
wrote it in. All right. So the first
Did I?
prediction that I made,
That was a year ago. I don't know.
this was from 2018 in December. So my first prediction was Anthem will receive a Metacritic score between 83 and 90, and that was the critic score.
Loser.
So that was wrong. I think currently right now Anthem is sitting at a
It's
60.
63?
No, it's 53. I checked it earlier. It's 53.
Oh,
I still think that's low, but
yeah.
I mean,
I think
it was-
that's generous.
It was a rough
It-
launch.
yeah, it's sitting at 59. So I was wrong on that one. So I don't get any points for that. So so that sucks. All right. So Devin, first prediction was that there would be a companion app would launch at or before E3 2019. So you were actually pretty close with this one, Devin. You were a couple months off. We do have a companion app, and it does do
Stuff.
something.
Something.
You can join a
So
guild through the
you
companion
can
app and
you
nothing
can
else.
join a guild. You can get some extra
Yes.
coin for doing that. But that's about it. I really want them to continue to iterate on that if 2.0 comes out. Because we all wanted an app, but we all wanted a lot more functionality out of it. So hopefully that'll come to pass. So Devin,
Well,
unfortunately, you're going to
not
get
even
0
just
points for that.
functionality, Steve.
When did
like
that? When did the app
utility.
actually launch?
We need
It
utility
launched
with it.
right at the launch of the Cataclysm.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can tell you. I can look this up and I can tell you when the app launched. So
I
Mike,
just
will
want to
you
make
read the
sure. I
next
mean,
one
you're
while I
giving me
look it
0
up?
points, but without any actual evidence.
I'm sorry, Steve. Say that again. I
He
missed
wants
you
you to
read-
read your next. Your
Read the next one and I'm going to look up when the app released.
All right. So my 2018 prediction was that the first team to beat a Shaper Storm event will take 10 to 15 hours. That was obviously wrong because
Shaper
there are no
Storms
Shaper
don't
Storms.
even exist.
so there. That's what I thought. I mean, I thought the Shaper Storm was going to be the raid-like event. It ended up being called the Cataclysm, and even the first time to go through the Cataclysm with all the arenas open, I mean, I think it took 35 minutes. So not only was I off, I was very off. So I get 0 points for that. JD's prediction, his first prediction, was that he thought that Anthem will have 3 to 4 story content updates in the first year. And he qualified that as a story content update being at least a 3 mission campaign because he can type. So
I didn't type that. I didn't
so he
type
thought
that
it was
one.
going to be at least a 3 mission campaign.
I don't do.
And Survey came back and said, no,
Nope.
that wasn't the case.
No.
We are all
I was.
So 0
swinging a
points
I was
miss.
on
very
prediction
wrong.
one. Moving on to
Yeah.
our second predictions. So that first round we'll recap that first round. Everybody's got a goose egg.
Once
So our
Steven finds
second
out when the app
predictions-
actually launched.
we're not giving you any points for that. The second prediction.
It released in August,
Dang
so
it.
well after EA Play.
Second prediction. Steve predicted that Halleck dies during the critical path.
I mean, he made this sound, so technically he probably did die if he made this sound, right?
He's just a zombie
Well,
now.
Whatever sound you're saying it makes, we can't hear it.
we can't.
You
hear
know
it,
what sound
remember?
it is.
Yeah,
You know
but
which one it is. You know the sound you made.
So
That's the
so
one.
He did not die during the critical path. So Steve will get a 0 for that. Devon predicted that 2 additional difficulty levels will be added by the end of 2019, and I guess we unlocked Grandmasters 2 and 3. So I don't know if that's considered being added. I think we're gonna have to throw it to
No,
the judge on
No,
that
because
one.
we knew about the 3 levels of difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
I
a
mean,
0.
were we supposed to know about this?
0.
I don't know.
0. Just a 0. Get
It's a
over it.
0. Everybody's getting
We did know
zeros. I'm
about
not
this.
concerned.
My second prediction was that Tassin ends up being evil,
Wrong.
and I think that's wrong. Well, is Tassin even in the game still?
She is. We
Yeah.
don't know if she could still end up being evil, but she is not evil at the end of 2019, so we'll give you a 0 on that one.
Thanks.
You're
JD
welcome.
predicted that a major content update,
Yep.
major content updates, plural, will come every 2 to 3 months, meaning more
Yeah, I
than
can feel this one
5
coming.
hours of content.
Yep.
Survey says
0.
0.
Show me potato salad.
We are doing good.
Predictions the third. Steven thought that we will have.
Now let me clarify, okay? Just before you freak out on this prediction, calm down.
Oh, you're
Calm
so
down.
dumb.
No,
Oh.
stop.
No, I
Before
got
you-
this.
no.
I got this. Steven thought that there will be 4 new javelins by the end of 2019 for a total of 8. Count them. 8. Ocho.
Let me
for those of you who are
clarify.
bilingual. No, I got this.
No, let me
Clarify.
clarify. I'm an idiot, all right? And therefore made this prediction. And therefore am wrong. So carry on.
Yeah.
All right. So
I know how you feel.
Steve, you're gonna have to look up this one again because Devon, the financial guy of our group, estimated and predicted that Anthem will create over
150 million.
I can read.
I don't know if
I
you
got
can.
Will create over 150 million in revenue during the first quarter. And Steve will have to look that one up for us.
I mean,
because
I don't think they ever
we didn't
actually
do our
released
research.
numbers.
So is this un?
I mean, we know it did.
research this?
It did well, but how well they
Let me look up the earnings call transcript. How about that?
Yeah,
So,
try to do that.
Yeah,
move
and
on, I'll move
read
on.
through the whole thing.
But I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it's 0. I predicted that there would be another planet or continent by the end of the year. That was wrong.
wrong.
JD predicted that there would be a 5th javelin by the end of 2019.
We all thought that was like a guarantee.
Unless something happens within the next 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure we're done for. So after round
Yeah.
3, let's go over the scores. Steven is in the lead with 0. Devon is tied with 0. I am tied with Devon with 0. And JD is tied with the rest of us with 0.
So
This is a great game.
So this is one of the comments from Q1 2019. EA said, we are similarly committed to the live service for Anthem and delivering for our community and the new IP over the long term. The launch of Anthem in Q4 did not meet our expectations. So this is Q4 because the way their fiscal year works, Q4 ends in the beginning of the new year when Anthem launched. So I'm guessing if they didn't meet it Q4, then Q1 they probably didn't also.
No.
So we'll just make that a wash for Devon. Sorry,
Make that a 0. Sorry there, Devon. All right. Prediction Quattro. Steven predicted that there would be a wooden decal by the end of 2019. And that's a 0 because it's not a decal.
True. There's
There's a
So
wooden
then,
texture.
there's a wood
yeah.
paint.
No,
but
it's not even a
decal.
wooden texture. It's a leather.
It's
It's
a
considered a leather. The name
yeah.
is
Right.
wood mahogany or whatever that
Yeah.
looks like elephant scrote, but uh,
Ah, that was a good time when
What's-
I got William real good with that one.
anyway,
Okay.
carry on, Mike.
Devon predicted the first raid-like post-launch content.
Do we not know anything? Like, why are we even doing a show?
No, like BioWare's like they listen to this episode and they're like, "F
We
you,
gotta make it
Freelancer
all
Codex.
new."
None of your stuff is gonna come true.
Yeah. So
We're gonna
Devon got a
crush your
0 on
hopes
that
and
one.
dreams and your predictions." I apparently had that for 2 predictions, so I'm gonna get 0 on the next rounds for.
You actually did. I predicted that the companion app would let us change the appearance of the javelin. I got 0 on that, but if anyone from the team is listening, that needs to, I think, be one of the foundational blocks of your app that you are looking at. Because when you're sitting in a waiting room and you want to get your hands on some Anthem, that's a really simple way to do it. It's not,
Just use XCloud
yeah, you could,
and
but
load really long time.
just saying.
So you were gonna say it's not hard, right? And whether it's hard,
It's not my job to decide whether it's hard or not. Either they can do it or we'll just complain. So I
I
think they
mean,
should do it.
Bungie can do it, so.
Exactly. It's out there. The prototype is out there. JD might actually score points
Nope.
with this one. JD
don't give me hope.
JD says that we will likely see clan systems in the first 6 months. There are clans. Are they clans? No, they're
It's
guilds.
guilds.
They're guilds.
They
So
are
sorry,
guilds.
it's a 0. You didn't use the right word.
But when did it launch?
it launched at the same time as the app. But if we want to, I mean, JD, you can specify what you meant by a clan system because
Well,
even though
we didn't know the nomenclature was going to be at the time. We didn't know if it was going to be guilds or clans or if it was going to be houses or whatever they use in other games.
Well, I'm not even arguing that, like, because I know what you meant, but I guess like because the system that we have right now, I don't think is this in the spirit of what you were thinking a clan system would be,
Think it
because it's hardly a
constitutes a
system
clan.
that we have now. Would that be a fair assumption?
I mean, I always think of that old, stop sign joke when it comes to like, is there a difference between stopping and just slowing down? It's like, yeah, there's a big difference. The whole thing is that there's still a system there. That's all I'll say on it. It may not be a very robust or refined or very good one, but it's kind of like like it's like I would say less than the bare minimum, but it's still technically a system. I'll let you guys vote or decide on your own if you guys want to keep it or not. But
I'll give you 1 point, but I'm more curious about the stop sign joke that.
Well, yeah, it's the old joke where the guy gets pulled over for slowing down instead of stopping, and then the cop starts wailing on him, saying, "Is there a difference between stopping and slowing down?" So yeah, it's.
I don't know.
That's why I've never heard.
For the interest of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I've never heard that one. We'll
I'll share the full version later.
Actually, in keeping with the theme of these predictions, we're gonna have to give him a 0 because that's kind of the point of what we're doing here. Moving on to prediction number 5.
I'm not in charge of the game, so
There will be 2 Anthem novels. This is Steven's prediction because he's all about the books. He does all that book reading, that Professor Highbrow. There will be 2 Anthem novels released before 2020. So this one isn't complete yet because he said 2020. So this one we'll have to table and revisit at this time next year. How many has there been a novel released?
before
It
this
says
year?
released before 2020, so it's got to be by the end of December. It has to be
before
released.
2020. That's
Yes.
right.
I'll
Not
go
the
ahead
end of
and give
2020.
myself a 0 because if we don't have one right now, we're definitely not going to
I
have
mean,
two.
do graphic novels count? Comics?
Art, you mean art books?
We do have an art book
book.
that has words
have-
in it.
But when
We
you
do
say
have a graphic
novel,
novels.
we know you meant like an actual novel, not
But
like
in this,
Oh.
art
but
books
technically,
and comic
Devin,
books.
books
Eh.
have words in them, and the two books that I
We
have,
know what you meant by
have
novels.
words in
Don't
them.
lie, you got 0.
and we
Steve-
have the internet stuff.
So Steve got 0 on that, unfortunately. Devin's prediction was that his favorite javelin would be the Ranger,
And he was wrong.
And he was wrong.
You
I'm
idiot, Devin.
actually a
You could've-
secret ranger.
So he can't. So he gets 0 points for that because he's a loser.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
man.
Now
What are we
this
even
is the
doing?
prediction that is going to score me all the points because I saw this one coming. I predicted that the Freelancer Codex would get an in-game shout out.
And to
I
this
mean,
day, I will wonder,
Knock
like, why?
the wood.
JD,
We got the
whatever's
ball
happening
sack.
at your place,
Keep
you need
Oh.
to just keep to yourself.
going, Mike. Push through this, please.
This is not that kind of show.
Yeah.
JD,
Simmer down.
I got a 0 on that. By the way, that was a 0. We did not get.
I
we
think you
didn't
should
get
get
an-
one for that. Come
We
on.
didn't get any
We didn't get
wood.
any
We
shout
didn't get
outs.
anything. We didn't get
Wow.
a review. We didn't
All
get
right.
go to Helen's. We got nothing. JD predicted that there would be at least 10 BioWare Easter eggs in Anthem.
Has
And
anybody counted them up?
has there been any?
Yeah.
Yes, they are in there. I just don't
We're
know
gonna
exactly.
we're gonna
There-
need an outside.
I don't
source
think
to
there's
verify
any in
this,
there.
because
No,
you could
there's
say
a
you could say that rock came from this game, and we'd be like,
No,
okay.
they flat out reference the guy who manages the Black Emporium in Dragon Age. I think there's a Mass Effect reference as well. Not to mention the N7 armor sets.
Those are not Easter eggs. Easter eggs are hidden. That's like blatant in your face. We're selling you something.
Okay,
That is not an
I'll
Easter
concede that. But there are Easter eggs. I don't know exactly how many. I'm not on the wiki. Like
I don't think there's
exactly how
any
many, but
Easter eggs. Like
Okay.
I haven't seen
There's at
anyone
least
ever talk
one.
about it.
There's at least one.
Okay, so once again, keeping with the theme of our predictions, JD earns a 0, which brings our final tally: Steven 0, Devon 0, Mike 0,
Woohoo!
and JD 0. So this marks the end of the Freelancer Codex podcast. For our predictions were so horribly wrong that we don't deserve to be here. Just saying.
You're probably right, and I'm not going to argue with that. However, like these are
We were wrong, guys.
I mean,
We
those
had
were
no
good,
idea,
positive, hopeful
right?
predictions. So
Some of them
So
were
we-
a little
these next ones are
outlandish.
going to be harsh. All right.
Yeah, they are.
we
Yeah,
actually
they
have
are.
some listener predictions from last year also. So White Rice number 9 said that there would be a companion app. So they got that right. Matt Ruiz said we'll find out the monitor is our father. That didn't happen.
Or
Frank
did
Frank the Rock said it's going to be successful beyond expectation. We'll get PvP announcement before the end of year 1 of the game. I pray the second part of your prediction never comes true, Devon. I don't know what that's referring to, but so Praxis
It didn't.
Praxis says, I know they said no PvP at launch, but what about PvPE, where 2 teams fight to beat a boss the fastest? Can't kill the other team, but maybe disrupt them. Rusted says, random statistics recorded, like how many Flare might gamble chucks in a mission, crashes into a wall, grab its kill. We know they're tracking that stuff, but they're not telling us
They're
any of
not
that.
sharing it.
So the Anthem show says there will be a competitive racing league with a ladder system, racing as in speed runs. So
Wasn't
I
that
guess,
the
I
Anthem
guess
Premier
if
League?
you squint kinda and look at the cataclysm that way,
Nope.
I guess it's
Not a speed run.
I said you had to squint. I mean, because
So-
you kind of had a leaderboard.
In keeping with
I-
our tradition,
I-
we're going to give them a
Yeah,
0.
in keeping,
It
with
had
the
flashing
tone of
lights.
Freelancer Codex, 110, 0 for
0 for all of our listeners, also, unfortunately. So
Unfortunately.
but we still love you.
let's go ahead and jump down into the predictions for 2020 and see if we can get at least something right that's going to happen next year. So let's try to do that. So I'll start off, and this is something that for some reason I just kind of want to happen because I think Nick Terabay,
The
like,
D-Bay? Oh, what? I mean, no.
uh, anyway, the only reason we say that because he like anyway, we won't get into it. So I predict that Halleck is going to die at the end of 2020 because at every hero story, the mentor has to die. It happened in Lord of the Rings. Gandalf died like 14 times, right? No, spoiler alert for all these things. Dumbledore died. Obi-Wan
What?
Kenobi died. I mean, all these.
Wait a
mentors
second.
have to
Wait a
die.
second.
He didn't really die. He gave
Gandalf-
himself up to the Force.
Yeah, Gandalf doesn't die.
Yeah, he fell. Like the world
Yeah.
didn't want him to die. He's like, sorry, you got to come back. So they sucked him back and
Hey.
became Gandalf the White. Eventually, he goes off to the island. Anyway, he died. He died one time. Okay,
Eh,
it
Hey,
fulfilled.
Luke became a mentor, and then he died.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! So Halleck's going to die before the end of 2020. So that is my prediction. All right. So you guys can score that based on however you want.
I'll give you a 1.
So Devin, you think that's going to happen? Mike, what do you say?
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Let's
here,
make it
because-
happen. Let's
well,
get it
because
trending on
because
Twitter.
I'm playing this game, right? Because not the Anthem game. I'm playing this.
You're playing
game
the
that we're-
prediction game.
I'm playing the prediction game. So I don't think it's gonna happen because of other reasons. So I have to score this at a 1,
Okay.
so that
So you think it is going to happen?
but for different reasons. And I
Okay.
think we'll get to that when you get to my prediction. So I'm actually gonna give this a 0.
You have
You
to give
can't
him at
give it a
least
0.
1 point.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to.
It has to be at
We'll
least
just put 1.
0.1.
Okay, point 1.1.
Not
JD, what's your?
1.1. 0.1.
Okay, I'll round it up. Though.
1.
Oh,
So I'm gonna give this one. I'm probably gonna give this one a 4. Just because I do think it leans more towards the side that Nick Terabay is, probably like not the most available for recording, especially given Anthem's.
He's recording another video
lack of
game right
critical
now.
Success. Yeah, he is.
He doesn't
He could be
care.
recording
but the
Anthem.
He'll
whole
sell
thing-
himself
the whole
out for
thing is
any
that-
money.
The whole
Wow,
thing
Devin.
is that
He's an actor, that's
I
what he
would
does.
place it a little bit higher up. I will place it a little bit higher up, just because Nick Terabay does seem that like he likes Halleck, but then again, he also gives off the impression a lot of the time that he is totally about Halleck but knows nothing about him.
He doesn't know
So-
whose face actor he is. Anyway, Devin, your first prediction.
My first prediction. In 2020, we are going to have 2 more events for
somebody's
Anthem
furiously
2.0.
typing and it's messing you up, dude. You just gotta read. You just gotta read through it.
Read. I
We're
didn't
gonna
type
have
my stuff
2
down.
more
You're
events
typing
before
it.
2.0.
Yeah, at least I mean, like in 2020, we're gonna have 2 more events. So Ice Tide doesn't count. We're gonna have 2 more before we get 2.0.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a 10 because I do not believe that's gonna happen at all.
Okay.
When you say events, do you just mean reskins of the Cataclysm?
I mean, the same things that what we just had was an event, and Ice Tide will be an event. So I think we're gonna have 2
yes,
more
that's possible.
next year before we get 2.0, because they got to do something. I mean, well, I can't say that they have to do anything because
Right, they don't
they're,
have to do anything.
You want them to do
I
something.
mean, I
We
want
all
them to
wish
do
they would
something,
but I don't
so
think they're gonna do anything.
I'm guessing they'll have at least 2 more.
Yeah,
before.
I'm gonna give you a 10. If that happens, then you can take my 10 points.
I'll eat my hat.
Mike, JD.
I'm gonna go. I'll go 7. I'll play the odds here.
Okay, JD.
About the same, 7.
All right, Mike, your first prediction.
Alrighty. So my first prediction is that I wrote it down. I need to scroll. My first prediction is that. So this is what I was talking about and alluding to earlier. that Fort Tarsis is going to get a reboot. It's either going to get destroyed or we leave it. We won't be going back to the fort at all in 2.0.
Just to Fort
So-
Tarsis. So you think we're going like we're gonna go somewhere else?
Yeah. I actually, I mean, and this will play out, and I think we'll read into it later also. But I think that the game is going to get just totally. I think 2.0 is going to be like just a total reskin. Not I shouldn't say reskin because that's not right, but just a complete redo. Kind of like Destiny
Revamp?
2 was just
Yeah.
taking it down to the bottom and then starting back fresh. So I think all those characters are going to be gone. I
Who
think the
needs
fort's
vault
gonna be
storage?
gone. Who needs a vault? I think that's going to be gone also. So
Yeah, no, I
Yeah, go to start.
agree. I think that's really easy. Like that's going to be the easiest way to really start over is to move on from Fort Tarsis.
yeah. So does that
So
mean you're
I'll
gonna
give
me
you
like
a 1.
one?
So I
Thanks a
agree
lot,
with you.
jerk face.
What
And
I
that's
I
never
see
happened
that as
before. What are you doing?
super
What are you doing?
plausible.
Quit breaking from the mold.
I am,
don't- you're not supposed to agree with
changing
me.
my outlook on life. Mike.
I'm going to give you a 4 because that makes sense story wise. So are you saying we never go back?
Yeah. What's the point? It's gonna be like the tower in Destiny. Like
So
we're
like
gonna
never go back. We never
Yeah.
set foot in it again. Okay.
No.
If
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a 10 because I do think that we're gonna move on for it, but I definitely think there's gonna be a scene where we're in the fort.
No, you're wrong. But that's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a 10. So I'm gonna put in here that we never see it in 2.0 because
You
that'll
just-
justify whether you get the points for it.
Isn't that what I said?
It's Fort Tarsis
That's what
reboot
I said.
destroyed.
But
we
but I mean
leave.
you're saying
never
you're
see
saying
it
it's
in
like
2.0.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying 2.0 starts, loading screen comes up, and we're somewhere else. We're in a swamp. And they say, Fort Tarsus was destroyed. We can never go back there.
So you're taking out a cutscene?
Yeah, you said never
Okay, so
set foot in it, never see it.
Well, in a cutscene, we'll just see it being destroyed. So there's at least we know what happens to it, but it's gone.
Okay, I'm going to give you a 5. JD, what do you say?
Thanks, man.
I'll give this one probably a 6.
So I am more on Mike's side here. I think that that's very likely to happen. That's how you got to destroy the past to make a garden or something. JD, what's your first prediction?
What is kill the past?
Make a garden.
Destroy it if you have to.
Oh boy, that edgelord. Yeah, Owen will. My prediction is that Owen will return in the story before. I meant to say. Oh no, it is 2021.
Yep.
Yeah, before 2021, before the beginning of 2021. I think Owen will return in the story.
That's hard, if they actually give us story content. I mean, they were there recording, doing stuff. They have stuff already done. They give it. I'm going to give you a 5.
Mike?
I'm gonna go. Let's see. So this is. So we'll return in story before 2021.
I mean, we have devs on Twitter saying that that's not the last that we've seen of Owen, so I'm just going to give you a 1.
I think we'll see him in this iteration of Anthem, but I don't think he'll be in 2.0. So it's probably a 1 then also.
All right.
Because
So
we'll see him before.
So second prediction. My second prediction was one novel will be released before the end of 2020. Devon?
I'll give you a 4.
All right. Mike?
7.
JD?
10.
All right. I got some good points on that one. All right. Devon, your second prediction.
My second prediction, by at EA Play or before, we will find out who's actually running the team making Anthem. So they'll actually tell us who's in charge.
What if
Or
I
we'll
just told
find
you
out.
right now? Would you get the points?
I mean, I would. I don't know.
Do you know right now?
Yeah.
But they'll publicly announce it, right? Doesn't matter if we know internally, but they'll publicly announce who's running.
I'm gonna give you a 10 because I don't think they ever announce anything. I don't think. Yeah. So EA Play will. So what do you mean by running? Like who's like the lead
Yeah,
director?
who's in charge? You know, like Ben was in charge, and then it was Chad. Then they both left. So then who's in charge?
We will know who
So
the
at
like
EA
the face
Play
of
or
the game or
before.
the person that actually says, "Hey, you can do this, you can't do that."
Yeah, so like before it was. Why can't I
What?
remember his name? Gotta
Chad
put
John
it-
Robinson,
Warner?
No, who's on our show?
John Warner?
Yeah,
Mike.
John
John Warner.
Warner.
Yeah, so like
John Warner?
yes, the
Say it again,
executive
JD, one more time, just in case.
John Warner.
John Warner?
John Warner.
Do, 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 do. John Cena. No. Yeah, so whoever's in charge, making the decisions, whoever they put out there, they're going to publicly announce it at EA Play or before then.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a 10. Mike.
7. I don't
JD.
understand your prediction.
It's not hard to follow.
Like, why do you care? Why do you even care who it is? Like,
Yeah. I'm gonna give this one a 3 because if they announce like 2.0 that's the thing that's actually gonna happen, they announce it, they'll probably announce it like with an article with an interview with the guy in charge.
No, they won't. Like their whole thing is show don't tell. They're not saying anything. Mike,
I feel like it's gonna change.
prediction number 2: players will start over, a la Destiny. We'll lose everything. We'll get shot back to the beginning.
I'll give you
will
10.
start over, and this is in 2.0, right? Because these are all about 2.0, or these.
this is just about that year, but we can make this about 2.0 specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you that they're like 2.0. We're starting over. Like, there's no way our weapons carry over. There's
Then
no
what are
way
we
with
doing
this.
here?
What?
Like
Right,
you're so like now you can change your prediction to make it to where you could actually gain points on it, right? So I guess my big question that you could choose, like, do our cosmetics transfer over that we spent money on?
They sure as crap stinks better.
That stuff.
You think they're gonna have different javelins? Why would they not?
No,
our
it'll be the
cosmetics
same
transfer
javelins.
over. Why would it? Why would they
So-
not transfer over?
Because it's like you guys said, it's going to be a brand new thing. It's a brand new game.
I think it will be a brand new game.
I mean,
but
that would
think,
piss off so many people.
but I think it will transfer over in some way. Maybe as credits to get new stuff. Maybe your stuff will come over. You'll still get, if the fort is destroyed, you'll at least get another set of javelins. Because that's what the game is built on. So that stuff will be intact in some form. I actually hadn't thought about that because I haven't used actual money to buy too many stuff, so that wasn't a thing for me. And you know what? It could just be, oh well, this is the loot box you bought for this, so
So you're starting over means new javelins, no weapons, complete character wipe.
but I do want to qualify new javelins, but they might be the same javelins, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I don't think
Yeah,
like it'll still be the Interceptor, Colossus, and Ranger.
right.
If my cosmetics don't transfer over, I will never buy.
Is that one of your
So-
predictions?
So, Devin, what if you were to get X amount of credits for it, and that you could use to buy the new version 2.0?
I mean, they would have to
would you
equal
be
the
okay
same
with that?
amount of money that I spent.
Well, and
I
it
spent
would,
a lot of money.
but you know what? I mean,
That was my choice to spend the money, but
exactly, if it becomes too, if it's to the point where Anthem, what we have now, is so different from Anthem 2.0 that they're really considered two different games.
yeah.
Then I mean, would you feel the same way, or would you still be wary about purchasing the cosmetics
No, I guess it just depends on how different it is.
and how it's framed?
Yeah. But I mean, I would be pretty disappointed if none of it went over. But if it was just basically like, oh, the exact same models, but they didn't bring any of it over, and I'd be like, well,
And I have to buy the exact same stuff
you
again.
can stick it up your cornhole. And
It's almost like that would be something that we should know before it launches next year. So your prediction, Mike, is still that it's start over 2.0, because I
Yeah.
think that is very likely to happen. So I'm going to give you low points for that, because that seems like,
It's
especially if
really
they're blowing up the fort, like
it's
you
really
predicted.
disheartening that you're agreeing with this stuff.
I-
Making me feel like
Mike,
I
I
give you
totally
a
disagree
7.
with you. Nothing is happening. Here is a 10. JD, your number for Mike's prediction?
I'm gonna say 7.
7. JD, your next prediction?
Uh, so I primarily just comes down to voice actor availability, but I think at least half of the NPCs that we've met, like people like that, I can't even remember his name. The guy who's always like talking about gossip and rumors that are totally not true. At least half the NPCs
Mal?
are going to disappear and be replaced with new characters.
So half of the NPCs, give me a number, because
Half.
this we'll need to quantify it. Like
50%.
half of what? There's like a ton of
Half is 50%. Like
He wants to
if
know.
it's an
give
odd
a
number, I'll take.
We don't know
I
how many
know.
NPCs there are.
Like,
So
because
okay, I'm gonna
a
say
bunch of
four.
them just walking around.
Four.
Thank
Four
you. That's all I was
NPCs.
asking.
I'll
me a
give
number.
you a 1. I think move on. You definitely have to lose at least some of the people because they're all gonna die in the fort when Mike destroys it.
So
0.
I'm also going to give you. So Mike's going to give you a 0. So we'll round that up to 1. I'll give you a 1 also,
But
because that
that's
is
not
likely to happen.
that's not the
1 is the lowest
Hey.
number, right?
Did you read?
Actually,
or did
it's
you write
not.
the rules of
In
the game?
our
Look,
game,
if-
it is.
It is
In
not
this
the
game it
lowest
is.
number.
All right, prediction number 3. Man, this is taking a really long time. This is the longest show we've had in a really long time. Okay. This is a lame prediction. Devin, let's start with you first. I'll come up with a different prediction.
Okay, so prediction number 3 would be that they give us so in Anthem 2.0 we have actual swords and melee weapons. Not just like gear pieces where they're like, oh, you have blades.
14,612,000.
You got blades, but we'll actually have like, oh, you can use a sword or you can use a hammer or
Or you can
And
use a
my
rock.
And my
I'm going to give you
actual
an 8.
melee weapon.
I'm going to give you an 8. Mike, what do you grant
10.
Devin? 10? JD?
Yeah, we've been told emphatically that is not going to happen.
2.0.
Well,
I'm gonna give that one a 7, but I really want it to happen.
Okay. Mike, you take care of these next predictions while I come up with another prediction.
word. So I think that all future events will be modeled after the cataclysm. So complete a task, get points, kill a boss at the end with multipliers and inversions. So some form of that. We kind of saw that when Ice Tide with the Swarm Tyrant. So all events are going to be molded after that. It's not going to break too far from that mold. I don't know how we can quantify that to put it down, but that's how it's going to be. So Devin, what do you think? Point wise.
Is this up to 2.0 or even with 2.0?
With 2.0.
I give you a 10.
10 then? All right, so let's see, where's my line?
Because if it's the same in
I gotcha.
2.0, then they might as well punch themselves in the back.
Well, I mean, what have you been playing? So Steve, what do
2.0
you
is
think?
supposed to change everything.
It is very likely that a lot of those, I mean, it's possible that they can say they modeled it after the cataclysm with things like timers and things like bubbles. So I can see that stuff returning. I don't know how we would be able to quantify saying this was definitely modeled after this for a different event. But like how would we be able to justify that?
If there's inversions, if there's puzzles, if there's a
So it
boss
has to
battle
do
at the
exactly
end.
as a cataclysm. There has to be
well, but
different
then also
events that unlock.
but then also
points
look
to
to
score. Oh.
also look to the Swarm Tyrant encounter in Ice Tide as kind of a so these
Okay,
elements
They're
gotcha.
that are
taking
here,
mechanics and bringing them.
mechanics and moved over.
I'm gonna give you a 7 on that one. JD.
Do it.
Uh, I'm gonna give him a 6.
All right. JD's
Word.
prediction: at least 2 of the 4 main javelins will be totally revamped or overhauled before 2021. What do you mean by overvamped and overhauled? Revamped and overhauled.
Yeah, I don't know what
Uh,
overvamp is. I don't know what you're.
They'll become
overvamping,
vampires. They're
But
overvamped.
that's
If
not
we're
a thing.
if we're vamping, if we're
Yeah.
vaping, over vape, I over vaped last night.
Over vape. Yeah, I just mean that basically like they might keep one or two things, or one or two things might be similar to the original, but they're just going to totally rework the kit. That's the terminology that they use, like in Warframe, when a Warframe just isn't working well, or isn't playing well, or isn't balanced properly, and they'll just take everything. They might keep the themes and the general appearance of it, but they'll rework all of the abilities, have them have different effects, or different appearances to their effects, or
So this
something
doesn't
like that. Basically,
include giving them new abilities. This is like you're changing the storm from having
Hover
like
to running on the ground.
it would basically be like rebuilding the storm from the ground up. So it's still going to be the storm, but it's not going to be
The storm that we know.
the same. Yeah, no, it's basically like the Storm 2.0.
It was like X-Men movies where they're like, "Oh, this is who this
Yeah,
person
it's
is."
kind of like
They're
a
like, no,
kind of like a
no.
re.
That's not who.
I'm going to give
It's
you a
kinda
10
like a
because
rebuild.
I don't think they're going to do that at all.
Not even in
Devin?
2.0.
No. Like I mean, to revamp something, all they have to do is give them new gear. So
But I mean, that whole system has to be destroyed and changed. Garbage. I'm gonna give it a
Like,
5.
if you like played the storm, you're like, wow, this is so much different. Maybe we'll see when we get there. So Mike,
So 10 means we don't think it's going to happen, or we do think it's.
No, that we don't.
one means it's probably going to happen. 10 means there's no way it happens.
10.
Snowball's chance.
So my prediction is we will not have any VR integration in Anthem in 2020.
1.
Perfect.
Seriously, that's just a point grabber prediction.
You shut up and you just tell me how many points you're going to grant when I get this one right.
He's like, I gotta get at least a couple points.
This
on the
is
next
why
one.
we need a option.
We have never come to this point in a game where 1 point can mean the difference between success and failure, Mike. So
Where do you think I'm leaning?
1.
You
JD,
can have a 1.
I'm gonna say 1.
when I win this with 1 point, you'll all remember this day. Okay, Steve predicts that there's going to be a raid-like event. I'm going to quantify this. That means this content will take on the first. How will I quantify it? Because it'll get easier as you go on. I'm going to say.
First try 10 plus hours.
Okay, first try 10 plus hours.
10 plus hours?
That's from like Destiny, Vaulted Glass. It took us how many tries to get
I
through
know,
that?
but it's like they would have to actually hire.
And they would actually have to have difficulties that
Shots
matter.
fired. Shots fired.
Because if you could just play it on easy and blow through it, then that doesn't count either.
So you want to change that?
Nope.
10 hours seems high.
Yeah, have you played games with us before?
I have, and I honestly
jumping puzzles are not his thing.
Remember when we tried to play the Cataclysm at EA Play and how awesome that went?
Yeah, there were other.
Yeah,
that was
taken
rigged.
10 hours.
All right, that was rigged.
That was
There
pretty
were
rigged.
other things.
Oh, by the way, we have this giveaway for these
The team you're
guys.
playing has
anyway
all this time.
Devon,
Son of a-
number.
I'm gonna give you a 5.
Mike,
10.
JD,
That's not happening.
I'm gonna give you an 8.
8. Devon, your fourth prediction.
I mean, my prediction is also with raids that they'll have something similar to that. Trying to decide if in Anthem 2.0 they'll change the team size.
You're trying to decide that? They've asked you? They've reached out to you to
They've
decide
reached out to me, and
At least
I'm
they
gonna
reached out to
decide
somebody.
today. Right now on the show, I'm making future decisions.
that?
No,
man.
it's like, well, I mean, because it's difficult. It's like, well, if they change it, because a 4-man like raid isn't really a raid, right? That's more of a
Strike.
strike, and so they need more people. But it's like, well, if they stick with the same team size, then that would mean we have to have 8. But I don't know if that's actually going to happen. So I'm going to say, no, I'm going to go without the raids. I'm going to go. They're going to also have a strike, similar type of event, that you can run through with a full team of 4.
So the Cataclysm?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean,
Do you want to think on it for a sec?
I don't think the Cataclysm really counts as kind of like a strike because that's completely different than a strike.
I mean,
Really?
it has a boss battle at the end.
I mean, it does, but
like an
strikes also
extended
kind of
strike.
had some kind of story in it, you know. And I guess Cataclysm also kind of has some kind of story in it, you know.
Man,
Dang.
we're living fast and loose with the word
This
story.
is tough.
We're making
Yeah.
a story right now, guys.
Come back to
is
me.
what we're
Come
doing.
back to me. Let me think on this for a second.
All right.
Mike.
So my prediction is that the store is still going to have issues.
You should just read it how you wrote it. Like, man up here and read it how you wrote it.
Oh,
baby.
the store is gonna suck still.
So it makes me sad to give you a 1 because I don't know what they're going to do to change it. I mean, sell stuff differently.
I'm gonna give you 10 because if it's still the same, then we shouldn't even play the game. If they can't learn from their mistakes and change it in a huge update, then they're
Damn,
just.
son.
I mean, if they don't change it from what it currently is, then they're just stupid. I mean, I'm
No,
just
you're
being
right.
honest.
And we are more stupid if at the end of 2020 we are still talking about it if they haven't learned from that. You're right, Devon. 10.
Because I want you, because if you get
And
these
we're
points,
gonna-
that means we don't talk about this game anymore because they're stupid.
And we're going to do the same thing we do. We're going to go out to eat and play on our own dollar, and we're going to say, hey, look, we told you in 2019 that the store sucked. If it still sucks in 2020 and you're not listening to us, then what's the point? What the point? Jenny, would you like to grab
How many
points?
points?
Wow. No. Yeah, I'll give that one a 10 as well for the same reason.
You don't have to just because they did. You got some thoughts on it, I can tell.
We don't have time for JD's thoughts on the
I
store.
mean, I was gonna ask if you think the store is gonna suck in the exact same way. So that's all. But hey,
JD, what is your next prediction?
8. I think we will see a tower defense / horde mode added to Anthem or 2.0 before 2021.
I'm going to give you a 10 because tower defense sucks.
But he also put horde mode, so I mean that's that's
so
a
what is-
logical.
That's different.
What is horde mode
Yeah,
again?
I
like waves of
so
enemies.
I don't.
I'll give
really
you a
know.
breakdown
I
because
thought
there's
I knew
confusion on the internet on what
what
horde
it was,
mode
but
is.
the whole thing's
So
we
horde
should all
mode,
just talk at the same time.
that's what we do.
Okay.
That makes good
nobody
content.
You should
understands
add to
what's
it.
going
So
on.
this is Freelancer Codex episode 110. Horde mode. You start a mode. Waves and waves of enemies until you die. It does not stop until you die. There have been other iterations to horde mode where if you get to around wave 50, it stops. But generally, classic horde mode is enemies do not stop coming until you die, and you get points based on how far and how long you made it. Kind of like life.
You don't get any points for if you live longer though in life.
So
That is true.
So sidebar, our Steve's and I's 106-year-old Nana just died. She gets points. She's as old as the car. I want to throw that out there.
She killed horde mode.
Yeah,
She's
She
like,
did.
she
bring
won.
it on. I'm
Tore it up.
106. I'm really glad she got to see Baby Yoda before she died because that would have been sad if she didn't. So at least she had that.
Okay, so yeah, so that's not gonna happen. So it's a 10.
Devon.
I'm gonna give you a 5.
All right. Let's move on here. Back to Devon.
Back to
Has
mine.
come up with the prediction for number
Yeah.
4. So hit us with it, Devon.
I'm just gonna stick with raids. Just they will have a raid
You coward.
activity in Anthem 2.0.
Qualify that.
It's like that's just my prediction. We have the same prediction.
Yeah, I mean, but Steven has like it's gonna take people 10+ hours. Shoot. All right, so I'll just do strike like events.
Okay,
So
so
it's
the
different.
thing that we already have in the game.
Yes. So, but it'll be better.
Oh,
It'll be, but
better.
this time, it's gonna be different. I'm gonna give you a 1, Devon, because Devon wants to get 1 point also at the end of this thing.
Oh,
I'm gonna add
Technically,
ones for
it'd
Mike
be at
and
least
JD.
3 points if they give me one also.
It's average points.
Oh, bummer.
I'm gonna put Devon's prediction. There will be strikes. Cool.
nice, man.
All right. I predict my last prediction. It's not my last
Hey,
prediction.
they
but
didn't
it's
say
what I'm
what they
gonna
gave
put
me
on
for
here.
points.
They're
They
gonna give you a 1. So I just
Yeah.
sped up that process. So my last prediction is that there will be no new javelins in 2020.
1.
Mike's with me on that train.
Javelins.
Yep.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think we're gonna get at least one new javelin. So I am gonna say
Yeah, based on all that
10.
information, or
Yeah, don't you worry
on
about it.
everything else that's happened. All right, JD.
I'm gonna say 5. I think it
All
go
right.
either way.
Devon, your last prediction.
My prediction is we get at least one new javelin in 2020.
You're a bastard.
Oh,
I'm
dare
gonna
you,
give
Devon.
you a 10.
Is
Mike?
anybody still with us in chat?
No, this is why
dare
this is
you,
why they
Devon.
come to the Freelancer Codex.
So my prediction is that underwater exploration now.
Hey, how many
means
points?
Ooh.
beyond chests and material.
Yeah,
pickups.
you're giving points for Devon.
Not your prediction.
You can jump the gun, but we're gonna give points for Devon's prediction first.
Oh, what was his prediction?
That there would get
That there'll be
we'd get
one new javelin.
new javelin next year.
He just scooped my prediction.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna disqualify that one. That doesn't.
Why?
Relate to...
He thinks there's not going to
That-
be. I
that
think
is-
there'll be at least one.
Oh, they're not the same. You're plus, he's 4.
Man.
Yeah, 10.
I
Sorry.
had this written for several hours, man. How you gonna do this to me?
Hey,
dare you.
How many points?
I
How
give
many
him.
points did he?
I give him a 10 because I think I'm gonna be right.
Well, I mean, if there's more than one, then I
Yeah,
still get
if you're right, then
points.
Devon will be right. Because you said there will be 2 new javelins before 2020, which I'm going to give it 10
I
to,
did
because
not
that's not
see
going
the
to happen.
words at least. I see. I forgot the words at least. I say.
All right, he gave me a 1.
He gave you a 1.
He agrees with me. We have hope.
I do.
Mike, your prediction. Underwater exploration means something.
Yep.
I am going to give you a... I really want it to mean something.
Like we can battle in underwater, or
It'll mean something more than just travel, the occasional chest, and the occasional
you have to
material.
quantify that.
There's chests underwater?
Yes, there's chests underwater.
How
Steve.
often do you guys go underwater?
Where you been?
Word.
I master flight. I never have to
when
go
you can,
underwater.
when you can
You're
find
still technically
water,
flying
it's
underwater.
difficult. It's difficult to find water.
Man,
but
do
when
you
just
remember
don't
that
ever overheat.
time where we could not find water for like 27 minutes
You mean on the stream?
in Bastion, where there's water everywhere, so you can master flight, and we could not find water you can dive into? I now remember why they stopped streaming.
That was awkward.
Man, it was pretty rough. So yeah,
That should be. We should have made like a top moments for Anthem, and that would have been one of the top moments. Not being able to find water.
We're a little salty today.
we are very salty today.
It's really late.
So yeah.
You're on vacation. What are you
So-
talking about? Is late.
I'm gonna give you a 5. Devon,
Yeah, I don't even know. I'll give you a 5.
JD?
I'm gonna give that a 3.
All right. JD's last prediction and the last prediction for the night.
Well, I think that there will be at least 2 new javelins before 2021. Thank you, Mr. Nygren,
Woo woo!
for your
JD doesn't
delicious
want any
contribution.
points, so I'm going to give JD a 10.
I am gonna give him a 10 also.
Mike, you are also going to give JD a 10, I imagine?
15.
15. All right. So total points possible since we average these out, and that's how this game works. So I have the potential to earn 23 points. Devin has the potential to earn 31 points. Mike's going to earn 32 points, and JD's going to earn 30. But most likely, I will win because I
I
will get the
win.
one VR question. You don't win until
I
you
have
get the points.
You
I
won't
have
win. We'll
32.
tie, Steven. All right.
I
You
have
have the
I could have
32.
gotten 1 point.
Mike, you have
today.
the potential, much like Anthem has potential.
Yep.
You have potential.
We all have potential.
to
Just
win
believe
this
in
game.
yourself. Don't believe in the you that you believe in. Believe in the you that I believe in.
So believe in the Devin that believes in
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Believe in the Devin that
You
believes
kick
in Devin.
reality out the window, make up your own reality,
Believe
and
in the
make that
version
become
of
real.
you that I see, not the version that you think you are. The version that I know you are and can be.
So Umbrella Ops from Flight says flying in Anthem is like learned muscle memory perfection for him now. And Umbrella, I think didn't you just make Champion of Tarsus? I believe that was announced,
He's
um,
gone.
unless I do not remember correctly.
You
Let's see if he
probably
updates that
don't.
in there. I usually don't remember. But anyway, so that's the last of our predictions. That is what's going to happen next time. I imagine that next week, Ice Tide might be announced and might drop next week. We know that it's going to happen before. Okay, Umbrella says no, it wasn't him. We know it's going to drop before the end of the year because they told us that there would be 2 events at the end
Well,
of
they
this
told
year.
us lots of things.
Yeah, it's true, but I'm gonna hold him to this one. So I'm guessing Ice Tide next week. We will talk about it the week after we've had time to play it, after we have had time to race, after are able to see what's going to happen with all the other strongholds. We're going to see what the challenges are like, if those are going to be a terrible, terrible grind like Indomitable was. So we're going to see all that, and we'll talk about that at the end of this month. But until next time, this is episode 110 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Also, we're doing a giveaway for a really nice pair of headphones from HyperX. You can go win those by following and retweeting us. So that's super awesome. Go ahead and do that. Get a chance to win if you're in the United States. And until next time, there's a shaper storm on the horizon, and we'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Later.
Steve, are
Bye-bye.
you in a tin can?
We still.
I'm playing the outro, Mike, so you have to be quiet during the outro.
We can't hear it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I know you guys can't hear it, but it's recording, so the other people will just hear you talking and not hear the outro.
It sounds like he's in a tin can. I can't hear him. And he starts shouting at us. You punch those keys, Devin.
I'm not. That's Steven.